Hey y'all, Stretch More back here again. And today, in this video, I'm going to be talking about something that I've never actually talked about. And that's going to be an acronym. Now, you're probably wondering, what acronym am I going to talk about? Well, simply put, YOLO. Now, YOLO is an acronym that stands for You Only Live Once. Now, this has been something that's been used in our society for quite a while, especially with usually younger people, trying to be a little more hip, trying to maybe a little bit more hop, a little bit more rap-like, maybe want to sound cool. And I remember many years ago, there's a song by Drake called The Motto, and part of his verse is you only live once. That's the motto, YOLO. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because it's so crazy to me. Like in recent times, in times past, as I even like to say, I've been hearing so many like different types of mentionings or different phrases related to this form or this acronym of YOLO. Yeah, form really wasn't the best word to use, but it just came out. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that was because I've been hearing stuff like, hey, you only live once, or hey, you only have one life. Hey, this is it, And the reason why I was inspired to make this video as well was because I was recently out of town. And when I was out of town, I decided to do something. I saw this white chocolate Snickers bar, and this was a king size one. So it has like two separate Snicker bars, in it, right? And my dad was paying for some gas. And I looked at this. I said, Dad, look at this. I said, hey, look at this white chocolate Snickers. And he's like, you want it? And I was like, I don't know. And my dad is checking out the gas, and I decided to look at the rest of the snacks around, in the gas station. And this woman gets behind my dad, and she's about to buy something. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna buy this. So I ended up buying it myself. And I took it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy this. Walk to the register. Hey, how you doing? Doing pretty good. How are you? ... And that's that. The transaction has been completed. I walk out to the car. And as I'm walking out, my brother's standing right beside me. And I told him, I was like, man, I got it because I don't know if I'll ever see it again. And we get in the car, split the Snickers bar up, and we're like, that's pretty good. And really what I want you all to focus on was what I said. I said, I don't know if I'll ever see this again, And I'm not gonna lie, even that alone is something that's been sticking with me lately. Is just like some of the things that you encounter or some of the things that you may do in life, you may never do again. Like you never know, like any of us, and I've said this before, any of us could be gone, vanished, hey, snapped away like, hey, you know what Thanos did? Hey, he said, dude, half of the universe, Imagine that in real life. Like I think, shout out to the MCU for a little bit, Thanos was, hey man, I've said it plenty of times, the way that this man's past version of himself came back and continued his present/future version's plans, insanity, but brilliant, okay? And even that alone, like it's so it's so ironic. That alone even kind of plays into what I'm talking about because it's like, you only live once. And it's like Thanos, he was like, hey man, I'm about to take this chance. I'm about to take this chance and do what I want to do. Now, I will say there are certain decisions that you obviously want to be conscious of. But I think even it's interesting, even seen in that character and so many other characters, is that they just go, hey, this is my final chance, or this is my only chance. And something that I even have been saying to a lot of guys, or these group of guys who would ask me for advice on how to talk to girls and how to communicate. And I would tell them, I would look at them and say, hey man, there's nothing to lose. And this is obviously another video that I'll even be breaking down as well. But I told them, and I would look at them and say, hey, like, dude, there's nothing to lose. And really, you know what else I could have said? YOLO, you only live once, so try it. Go and say hey to that girl because you may not ever see her again. Or, hey, if it doesn't work out, then it didn't work out. Keep moving on. And so that's why I think this phrase YOLO really has a lot of significance because, let's be honest, you only live once. Like, you're the only you that exists. I always say that all the time. You're the only you that's ever going to exist. Think about that. Like, there's never going to be another you, ever. And even at that, me personally, I'm a religious guy. I'm a Christian. And I do believe in the afterlife. But even from this perspective and the way you can perceive this, you're only going to live once on this earth, as far as I know. Obviously I'm still alive. And, one concept that's been talked about in society as well, like, what if you die and you just get swapped into a new body? Like, I don't know how I feel about that. That'd be a little weird, because you would essentially have this aspect of eternal life, and you would just keep switching bodies and keep switching bodies. And yeah, but just think about it from a logical standpoint. Let's be real. Like, as far as we know, you only live once. And so it's like, even if you think about it from a religious perspective and you believe in the afterlife, you're still technically only living once through yourself. And so I really think, like I said, I just think it's funny, that it's like certain decisions we sometimes wrestle with, we sometimes overthink about, or we just don't simply go, oh, well, this isn't really going to harm me. This is going to hurt me. So why not? And that's why I thought about, even with the Snickers bar, like, I didn't overthink it. I didn't really ponder over it too long. I looked at it, I said, I may not ever see it again. And the irony is, I haven't seen it since. And it's only been, it's only been like 2 days now. But even when I went to go to another store yesterday, and then, 2 stores yesterday, I never saw the Snickers bar again. So who knows? I may never see that again. And it's the same thing with people. Like, I've noticed that with, even certain women that I see, I'll be like, man, like, I would love to see that woman again. And I'm probably never going to ever see her again in my life. Heck, you look at even the way that we are so fascinated by celebrities, and I just mentioned this in my mukbang. We're so fascinated by celebrities, and you sometimes meet that one celebrity that you probably thought you would never meet. Probably a once in a lifetime type of thing. And you'll probably never see that person again unless you're watching TV. Crazy, isn't it? So that's why, really, to a certain extent, YOLO it's a good phrase, I would say. But at the same time, you have to think about it, because you don't want to just live recklessly as well. Because let's be honest, like I said, hey, even with my coworker, he was saying, like, hey, I treated myself to this YOLO, like, you only live once. And it made sense. And that's why I said, treating yourself, as long as it's done in moderation, can be a great thing. But keep in mind as well, like, if you really want to live by YOLO, you have to be considerate of yourself. You don't want to just ruin your body. You don't want to just ruin your mind. You don't want to wreck yourself. In other words, you don't want to just, hey, in the words of GTA, wasted. You don't want to just be wasted, And that's just the honest truth. You want, I don't know, I can't really tell you this, but some of you all I know at least want to live a long, prosperous life. So YOLO is a good phrase to think about or live by, but you still need to consider what you're doing. Because you may think, well, YOLO, I'm going to drink this up. YOLO, I'm going to take this drug. YOLO, I'm going to stiff this up. But then, what's the point of saying YOLO if you only live for a short period of time? What's the point? Truthfully. Answer that for me. Seems pointless to me. If you're going to say YOLO and then you only live for like a year or two. Or YOLO and you only live the next day. YOLO, you only live the next second. You only live the next minute. So was YOLO ever worth it? That's the question. That's why I say that, y'all. It's like YOLO is an interesting phrase, but it's like, it comes with questions. Because you do want to be considerate. As I just said, you want to be considerate of your body, of your mind, of your soul. Because you only have one life. You only live once. So think about that. Do you really just want to YOLO and just down this drink? YOLO and just smoke this? YOLO, take that? YOLO, I'm going to mess around with this girl and that girl. I'm going to mess around with this guy and that guy. Like, think about it. Because you only have one life. You're the only you that's going to exist, so why waste it? Because what's happened over the past few years and what happens every single day, unfortunately, is that people waste their lives and they throw them away like trash, like garbage. Just for the garbage man or the garbage woman, I don't know, the garbage company. People throw away their lives like they're just ready to be thrown away. Crazy. Crazy. But that's the honest truth. Over the past few years, young people especially have just become obsessed with living on the edge. Not living with thought, in other words. I always say, think before you speak, think before you act, right? And that's something that a lot of people literally don't do anymore. It's crazy. It is literally crazy, is it not? As I always say, think before you speak, think before you act. Think before you just say YOLO. Because everything could be gone within a second, within a minute, within an hour, within a day, within a week, within a month, within a year, within a decade, within a century, And that's the honest truth of life. YOLO may seem like a good phrase, but hey, it can come with some consequences as well. So, yeah, y'all. It's Tristan Moore back here again, and hope you enjoyed that discussion. Let me know what you feel about that, or how you feel about that. Drop your opinion, and yeah, YOLO. Peace.